Here. Welcome to the Doug Show live, and we're going to be going through a few questions today. I think a couple people have already sent them in, which is cool, and we'll just play some clips from recent highlights. So hopefully you could hear me. Say hello in the chat, please do let me know. And if you have questions, feel free to ask. I usually group them sort of towards the end, and then we'll just kind of ramble on about some various things. I do hear myself, which is always a good sign. So I can remove these earphones here. How's everybody doing today? It looks like we got a light crew, at least in the beginning here, and we will see how it shakes out. So hopefully some more folks will join in. Couple quick housekeeping things. Highly encourage you to go to nichesiteproject.com. If you're not signed up for the email list, you can sign up right there on the homepage. Click the green button. I send templates and how-to guides. You join the email list, so I point you in the direction of useful and helpful content, hopefully. And then, if you have questions, like Udesha asked one here, you can go to nichesiteproject.com/FAQ, where I literally have answered, I don't know, 30 some odd questions of these frequently asked variety. And you could also go to the KGR, Keyword Golden Ratio, frequently asked questions, where I also answer about 30 questions there. So it's great to see them. It helps me understand what content to publish. And this is a super common one that Udesha asked. So Embracing Nirvana is in from Thailand there, which is awesome. Bangkok, Thailand. Yeah, that's right. Thailand. And I think it's late at night there. So thanks for joining in. The other thing is I do have a few courses that I could point you towards. So released a Haro link building course last week. It did super well. You could check it out. Link in the description. Also site growth plan, where if your site is stagnant, if it is stuck, if you want to grow it, if you want more traffic, and to earn more, you can go to Site Growth Plan. And finally, Multi-Profit Site, which is sort of the big flagship. Step by step, it takes you from start to finish, researching keywords, trying to figure out what niche might work for you, writing content, getting links, growing the site, all those details. Everything's included there with Multi-Profit Site, start to finish. And Amin is on, doing well today, doing well. It's warmed up a bit, so it chilled down a lot. We had wildfires very close to where I live here, near Boulder, Colorado, and it impacted the national park, Rocky Mountain National Park. They closed the whole park. They evacuated a lot of the surrounding communities there. Luckily, we got snow about a foot on Sunday through Monday, roughly, kind of that time frame. So it cooled off quite a bit, got down to about 1 degree Fahrenheit, and it was cold. Had to put the boots on Georgie the dog, and it's warmed up a bit. I think it's about probably like mid 40s or maybe 50 today. There's still quite a lot of snow on the ground, but the roads are all clear, and I'm actually wearing shorts right now. So a little bundled up, but it's really, when the sun comes out, it doesn't feel that cold. In the morning, pretty cold. I had a lot of stuff on. But anyway, get a couple courses you could check out if you're interested. You could also get all those free resources and stuff over at Niche Site Project. So first question in this little segment, the Q&A segment, is sponsored by Niche Website Builders. So we'll put the little logo up. Basically, Udesha says, I'm not even going to be here, but I want to leave the question ahead of time. I wrote 8 KGR articles and they're indexed, but it's not showing in Google. The site's 27 years old, 27 days old. So basically, you need to publish more content and be patient. So this is one of the top things. Be patient. If your site is 27 days old, you are just getting started. You only have 8 articles, which is not much. I typically recommend you do a KGR test with about 20 articles so you have some volume to work with. Again, be patient. It does take some time. The other thing is a lot of times people mess up when they're just getting started and they basically keyword stuff. So maybe you're using a terrible tool like the Yoast SEO plugin. People can ask me about that later. So maybe you're following the directions and the green, red, and yellow lights, and you're being influenced by this plugin that is doing you a disservice, and you're keyword stuffing, and your site's never going to rank if you stuff with keywords. So that is one of the top mistakes that people make. And yeah, just keep moving along. Okay. And Alex from WP Eagle is on, and he says, 1 degree Fahrenheit. Yeah, negative 17 Celsius. It was very cold. Like I said, it's warmed up, feels pretty good now, but it was extremely cold. We're up at elevation here, about 5,000 feet. It gets that cold a few times a year. Not super common, but I believe earlier this year, if you check the Boulder, Colorado area, if I remember right, I think it got to like negative 15 Fahrenheit, which would be like negative 30 C, something like that. It gets pretty chilly occasionally. So back in Montana, it got even colder, and the lowest temperature that I've been in is negative 27 Fahrenheit. And that was just like one day in Bozeman. It was very cold. Even my dog was like, you know what? It's a little chilly. And this is our old dog. And his breath formed like little micro ice crystals, like on his whiskers and a little of the fuzz on his head. And we just went out for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. So turns out when you bundle up, like that day it was 1 degree, I had like a wool sweater on, couple layers, and then a big jacket, which is rated for like negative 35. So I was hot. I was actually hot out there, which is super weird. Just strange. But yeah, if you wear the right clothing, you're kind of warm, which is crazy. Okay. Amin says, you checked your last email. What's the story with the competition in Ezoic's channel? Oh yeah. So this is like a game show. It's called Website Wars. People can check it out tomorrow. It's premiering. So I participated as a contestant. Ron Stefanski participated as well. And yeah, it's set up like a game show basically. So there were, I can't remember all the little details, but it's kind of like, what is that game show? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Is that it? No. I can't remember. It's where they have 12 cases. I never watched the show. Whatever they're basing it on, I never watched the show. But they have 12 cases, and they reveal a piece of information in several rounds. Ron and I get to choose, which case we want, and there's a value behind the case based on its, I think it's monthly earnings. So at the end, the winner is whoever picked the best set and has a portfolio of sites. And then we talk about, why we chose the case, and then afterwards, why we made certain selections and kind of how we felt about the whole thing. So it's pretty cool. Check out Ezoic's channel, and I think it's premiering tomorrow, I think at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So check it out. I can't remember if there is not a link in the description, but if you go to ezoic.com/website-wars, you can check it out there. Abhishek is on also. What's up? Kanishik says, is it good or bad for SEO? And I'm not sure the context of what you're asking. All right. Deal or no deal? Maybe that's it. Deal or no deal? And Alex mentioned that. So very cool. And you know what? Alex, I didn't check with you ahead of time. Are you going to be around for a few minutes? I think I may actually be able to bring you on fairly easily. We'll see if you just want to pop on. I've been scrambling. I got some other stuff going on, so I've been scrambling in the past couple days here, and I will answer another question. Oh, before I go on and answer another question, I should give a shout out to Ezoic, who is a partial sponsor of the show today. So definitely appreciate that. They have the Site Speed Accelerator that'll help your site load faster. I highly recommend you integrate via the DNS. Someone asked a question recently about, changing the DNS. They have their website through GoDaddy, and the registrar and their domain and DNS is all through GoDaddy, and they were wondering, hey, is this going to mess everything up? The answer is no. You should check the guide on changing the DNS on whatever website or hosting you're using and the registrar. Make sure you understand kind of what's going on, but you can change the DNS, change those servers to point over to Ezoic. It's routed through. They do that so that you can essentially, so that you can essentially use CDN and caching and that sort of thing. So Site Speed Accelerator, they guarantee an 80 or higher on the Google PageSpeed Insight score. You can get a 7-day free trial. There's a link in the description there, and Alex cannot join me. He's actually just checking it on his phone. So I'll coordinate and ask ahead of time next time, Alex, but it may be a couple weeks. So shout out to Alex and WP Eagle. If you haven't checked out his channel, you should. I've been on there a bunch of times. He's been on my channel several times as well. And I know he has a new hosting situation. I don't know all the details, but if you go check out his channel, you'll be able to find a recent video where he talked about it. Back to the questions here. So, Minaj says, you just started your niche site. I chose a very micro niche. Is that a good idea? I think for me, that would be no. I think going too narrow is a bad idea. So I would make it more broad. Slow fishing, what's up? What do I think about page where the EPMV is $7? Is this okay? Good or bad? Is it worth it to continue work with it? Or is it better to try something else or another niche? I think, so there's two parts to the equation, which you already know, right? You have the EPMV, which is earning per 1,000 visitors, and it depends on your niche, right? So if you're in a niche that's very, the audience and demographic has a lot of extra money, they buy stuff, advertisers want to get in front of them, your EPMV may be very high. The other piece of the equation is the number of visitors. So you can have a low EPMV, but a shitload of visitors, and then you'll be okay. Or you could have a high EPMV and then a lower number of visitors. It kind of makes up the difference. Of course, the best scenario is to have like high earnings per visitor and then also a lot of visitors, but those are probably more competitive areas. So I would say $7 is okay, but there's a lot of other pieces to the puzzle, and I would look at other ways to monetize as well. So if you think, hey, this is kind of on the low side, then you may want to look at the potential for traffic that you can get, because if you can make it up in volume, then you're okay. Alternatively, you can look at affiliate reviews and other ways to earn money. So let's say you get a lot of traffic and you have, an EPMV that you think is a little bit low. You might be able to reach out directly to companies and have direct ads right there on your site. Maybe it's really well targeted. And the fact is, if you can go and find a company that's running ads out there, whether it's on Facebook and Instagram or AdWords or YouTube videos, if they have a marketing budget and they're spending it on ads, you know for a fact they're trying to get in front of a specific audience. So if you contact them directly, you probably can give them a better deal than what they're getting elsewhere, and they're able to reach your audience directly. It does have to be a good match, of course. But then you cut out the middleman, right? You cut out the ad network. You can work directly with the partner and cut a custom deal. So it's better for them. It's better for you. You cut out that admin and waste, right? So if you're working with a display ad network, whatever it may be, even if it's just AdSense, people are sitting in offices, maybe not, maybe they're working from home, but there's a whole admin layer that costs a lot of money to pay for. So if you remove that and you're just working directly, then you potentially can get a much better deal. So overall, I didn't really answer your question. I just gave you a bunch of possibilities that you could look at, and $7 is fine. You may want to explore other options. Moving to a slightly different area, what I have seen more recently, and I have some kick-ass interviews coming up. A lot of people have been reaching out to me with stories on flipping. I had an interview today where someone basically started from scratch. They used to do another type of marketing and they got interested in affiliate marketing. They bought a site for about $2,700. Then they sold it for $24,000 in the course of 1 year. They really didn't know much about affiliate marketing beforehand, and they were able to just learn, solve specific problems, and move forward from there. So really cool interview. That's not coming out for a month. I'm kind of working ahead, and I'll tell a side story in a second here. But what other cool interviews do I have? Oh, I talked to Duke. This is a crazy interview. It's coming out this coming Monday. And I have a podcast too. So there's the podcast version and then there's the YouTube version. If you are interested in the podcast, it's Doug.Show. So you can check it out there. Listen to it on the go, maybe while you're working out, going outside, walking, doing dishes, whatever. So if you can't watch, you can check out the podcast, save a little bit on downloading and bandwidth on your mobile device there. But I interviewed Duke because he was earning good money, I think about $4,000 to $5,000 per month back in March, April timeframe. Amazon changed the commission rate, and then he decided to go the drop shipping route, and now he's making about $13,000 per month within 6 months. Pretty crazy. He didn't know anything about the specifics of drop shipping, so he set up a Shopify store, did all this stuff. He's getting a lot of organic traffic. Really cool what he's been able to do in a short amount of time. And then I talked to Ben Adler, and that'll be coming out in a couple weeks. So yeah, just really trying to get ahead so I can take time off. I like doing that. I like taking time off and just kicking back over the holidays, taking it easy. Vishal says, you've been following me for 6 months. My blog is 5 months old and you have 2 sales on Amazon. Even after KGR, I'm not ranking on Google, although I'm ranking well on Bing. Okay, so there's a couple things here. One, I answered part of it earlier. Make sure you're not making an on-page mistake. The other thing is I'm going to cheat and I'm going to point you towards, let me see here, the FAQs for, I'll pull it up for you. I'm going to put the link in here. Keyword golden ratio and then FAQ. This is what you need to check out. All right. So Vishal, the thing is, you could be making some mistakes. So the fact that you're almost 6 months in, you have a couple sales, which is good. So that indicates you're getting some traffic, but you're not ranking well. So there's a couple things that could be going on. One is the on-page issues. The other thing is it is possible, right, that the KGR is not working well for those set of keywords. I don't know how much content you have, but another big portion is, like I mentioned earlier, you should publish at least 20 articles. And if your blog is 5 months old, hopefully you've been publishing more. A lot of times when I hear from people that are in your situation, you haven't been publishing consistently. Could be wrong, but a lot of times people will say, hey, I got 8 articles up there. I don't know what's going on. So how much traffic are you getting, Vishal? And otherwise, the other piece of the puzzle, right? Publish content, but you should also promote your site, build links, let people know about it. So we have Edward. Edward, what's going on? Do I think Amazon affiliate will go away? Other affiliates can be hard to convert. Do I think display ads is the way to go in the next few years? So I don't know if Amazon affiliate will go away completely. It's obviously, well, maybe not obviously. I can tell you the trend over the past few years has been lower commission rates, and Amazon is getting bigger and more powerful, and they have more sway. And as affiliates, you really don't have much recourse to do anything about it. They could change the commission rates and you literally can't do anything about it. In fact, back in April, I mentioned this before, but I remember back in April when they were changing the commission rates, there was some group of, I would say, naive people who, by the way, if you're watching this now and you did this, I don't think you're naive. It's the other people. But basically they signed a, what do you call it? It's like a list. You sign I had it on the tip of my tongue, and someone will remember it in a second. Anyway, they signed this petition. That's what it is. Petition. They signed a petition to submit to Amazon to see if they would change the commission rates back, which I just thought was the cutest thing. So silly. So I think it's possible that Amazon could really change the commission structure so that it's not favorable at all. However, I have a hunch that it probably won't go away completely. Alternatively, what can happen, right? Because there's a lot of affiliate marketers out there. I don't know if it could really move the needle, but the fact is, if you have traffic on your website, you can figure out how to monetize it. I was talking about this specific thing with slow fishing, where basically, if you have traffic on your site, whether you're going after informational content or you're going after product-focused stuff, there's a decent chance there are companies that would want to work with you to get in front of your audience. So it's a matter of sort of taking it into your own hands and figuring out how to work with those companies directly. As far as other affiliates and conversions, you're 100% right. And I think that's a piece of the puzzle that a lot of people miss, where they're like, hey, this other program pays, a 60% commission rate. I should work with them. Definitely. But the fact is, if you only sell one of those, but with Amazon, you could sell, 1,000 of them, you probably should go on the Amazon side. I didn't do the math in my head, but I think that comes out better. 1 versus 1,000. I mean, it's a math problem to work out. The best scenario, and this is what I do in multi-profit site, which, I put it right there in the name, you're earning from different sources. So I think the best combo, Edward, is you have some Amazon affiliate. That's going to be the easiest, fastest conversion for new sites, new people in affiliate marketing. And then what you should do, have informational content, probably with your display ads on there. Some people will put display ads on all their content, which is totally valid as well. And the other piece of the puzzle is directly working with companies and software plus courses. So digital products, basically. Totally lost my train of thought. So digital products, and usually the commission rates are going to be higher. Just in general, it's going to be a good route. So that is what I recommend. Like when you choose a niche, you should probably make sure you have plenty of options. Now, Minaj says, when choosing a niche, should we go after a topic or a product? I would say go after I'm not going to call it a topic. That sounds very singular. Go after a set. Actually, go after both, all right? Because you're looking at it sort of like as a black and white situation, a binary decision. It's not that. You should go after the topic and products. There's no reason not to go after both of them. All right, I'm going to hit a couple more questions, then I'm going to play a clip from a recent interview. All right, so got a couple awesome interviews that did really well. So I'm just going to play a short clip from a couple of those. Embracing Nirvana says, I bought a domain name to create an Amazon affiliate site. Someone else must have had it before because there's 150 backlinks that they must have created. So will backlinks to pages I don't have hurt me for SEO? It won't. I would check the quality of the backlinks, by the way. Like if they're garbage, then you may want to disavow those. So if they're not good, maybe stay away. Then the other part is if you don't have those pages, it probably won't hurt you for SEO. It's not going to have like a negative impact. But if you did have those pages and there was good content and the backlinks were good, it could have a positive impact. So it may not hurt you, but you may be not realizing the potential for, some of those benefits that you could have gotten. Now, the fact is, if you bought a domain and you created a site, that means, and there were backlinks and someone else had it before, that means someone had the site and decided that it wasn't worth it. So there's a good chance those backlinks are kind of shitty and not worthwhile. So you should double check that and see what's going on, because it may or may not be good. So we are going to play a clip from an interview with Leon. So Leon Angus has a YouTube channel, and he was telling me about his journey to go full-time as an affiliate marketer. So I'm just going to let it roll here.
For niche selection, I've got like quite a few different videos that I've shared, because that process that I took back then has advanced quite a bit now. But how I went about that was funny, because I was promoting a CPA product that actually was about dogs, yeah, like golden retrievers. And that's how I made the transition into the website. So I never had a particular process of like evaluating opportunities and different things. I just kind of thought, I used my common sense and thought, okay, like a dog is like a baby. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And people are always going to buy for their dogs. You know, it's just one of those things. So then I thought, okay, again, like there was no kind of process or course or anything that taught me that. But I had taken a lot of courses up until that point, though. So maybe that was a bit of, you know, what helped me. But I looked at it and thought, okay, I'm not going to go into generic like a dog web.
Oh man, it always gets me with the clips here. I'm trying to reply back to the chat and it kicks me out. All right, we're going to send it back.
I'm going to go into generic like a dog website, because that's going to be very highly competitive. You don't need to kind of know SEO to know that. Yeah, that's quite common sense. So I thought, okay, if I niche down into one particular type of dog, then I'll have a better opportunity, you know. So from there, the first kind of people I started following was like Income School in regards to SEO. So I started building up the site with these kind of question keywords, you know, these low competition keywords, and following their process of like doing response posts and whatever else. And over time, I started to realize, because I've got a mechanical engineering background, prior to driving the trains, I was an engineer. So I realized that like I started seeing all these other people doing all the technical stuff, you know, and I thought that looks really attractive to me as well. And I thought you have a little bit more control than what they're teaching, you know. So their method is very good. But what I understand now is there's two different approaches that you can take, and it all depends on your like kind of exit strategy, how you're going to monetize the site and all those different things. So my general approach to niche research at this point has changed quite a bit. If you want to know now, like I'll actually go and see some successful websites, whether I'll go and see it on like a marketplace or something like that, and I'll evaluate it. I'll go and research some of the general keywords within the industry to see if there's an opportunity for me to rank. And my keyword research process, as you asked on that as well, I've got like, I use quite a few different methods, to be honest. It depends on what kind of approach. The way I see it is there's many ways to skin a cat, as they say. So sometimes I do like a reverse engineer method, yeah, and I teach that on my channel. So what I do with that is I'll go and like find an easy kind of question keyword that will bring up a lot of low authority sites. So the way I do that is I'll go and source it on like Answer the Public or something like that, and that's just going to give me a seed keyword. From there, I drum it into my tool. Sometimes I'm using Ahrefs, sometimes I'm using keysearch.co. Yeah, that's another tool that I use regularly. And what I do is once that I drum that keyword in within it's like a niche related keyword, that then brings up hopefully some low authority sites. Like, you know, if I don't get it on the first time, I'll keep drumming in more words. And what I do is once I get those sites coming up, I'll reverse engineer those sites. So I'll go and actually find all the keywords that they're ranking for within the first 1 to 10 results. And if they got like a DA 15 or something, and they got like, you know, less than 30 backlinks, and I always check do follow links, because those are the ones that count. You know, some people look at the whole link profile and there's a lot of scraped links and all these different things. Whereas it's the do follow links you want to pay attention to. So if I see that it's a low authority site and I've established that, I'll basically reverse it, bring up all the keywords that they show up for in 1 to 10. And then when I actually even put any of those keywords in, they're all like low competition because there's a low authority site ranking for it. So the only way they can establish that is by the keyword being of low difficulty. Yeah. So then I've got a list of these keywords. When I've got those keywords, I put those keywords into the tool, and that brings up more sites. So the positions 2, 3, 4, 5 are all going to be more low authority sites. And I just do that recursive process. And I just keep picking out keywords nonstop. So that's one way. That's probably the most beneficial way I'll teach anyone at the moment, because it can get quite technical and confusing.
That's great. I mean, you're looking at the signs that are out there in the world. You don't have to like recreate the wheel. And I know some people really struggle to find the low competition keywords, but you're literally going to low authority kind of websites. And just by definition, those are probably going to be the lower competition keywords. So very
because
good.
even if you set up filters, then if you're reversing a website, say for example, and it's a low authority site, they're ranking for like, I don't know, a couple hundred keywords, but then they've got like about 25 in the top 10, and they're very niche specific to your industry. Well, what can happen is you can set up filters. So you can filter it and say, okay, I only want to show keywords that are showing 100 searches or above. So straight away, you've got a bunch of keywords that have over on average, according to the tool, as we know, is just like a ballpark figure, but you know that they have relatively okay search volume and they're easy to rank for. So it just plucks out all of those keywords from those sites.
Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, it would be arguable, I think, to just ignore the search volume as long as it's showing up on a keyword tool at all. You know, there is some amount of volume. So,
and then just to kind of add in, at the end of that process, or any keyword research process that I use, I'll always go and do a manual check last. So that's one thing that anyone who's taking information from this video, you need to remember, is that once you've established the keywords that you're going to be targeting, you then need to go and manually actually check them and assess them to see who's showing up in the top 10. So I usually just go to Google, no tools, anything like that, assess the level of quality of content on the first ranking page. Are they bang on topic? All those different, you know, general practice things.
Is there something that you see specifically where you decide, all right, this is a bad keyword? What are things you look for there?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if I see something that, again, like I use my intuition quite a lot. If it seems like something that I don't feel that people are searching a lot and it's showing me like a 0 search volume, then I sometimes can be a little bit skeptical if I haven't got any data to give me evidence that that might have a potential. But a lot of the time, what I find with keywords, because right now I'm starting a site where I'm ranking a lot of 0 search volume keywords, and that site, like, you know, I've only got like 14 articles on it, and it's already getting like 3,000 visitors per month. Yeah, but and they're mainly like about 80% of the keywords are 0 search volume. What I find with SEO and with anything is you need to just go out and test it, and that's all it is, because everyone can give you all the different theories, but then you might have a different experience because your niche could be different, or it's a different time of year and people are behaving different. So there's so many different things. So ultimately what I do is I just put the content out there and then wait for the results. And the way you assess that is through your rankings and traffic, you know, Google Analytics and whatever else. So that's what I tend to do, you know. So I don't really have something that completely puts me off. Like I'm recently focusing a lot on silos and things like that. So if I see something of high competition, then I might say, okay, you know what, this is going to be like a new hub, you know, so and then I'm going to build sub pages under this, you know. So the only things that can veer me off is if I see these big authorities in the top 10, and I'm thinking, you know what, that's like almost like an impossible approach that I'm going to have to take, you know, it's never going to happen. But in that scenario, I might still give it a chance, as I said, because you have to test. And I might say, you know what, I'm going to build out a load of sub pages that are completely low competition, but then I'm going to link them all up to that main article.
Okay. And you mentioned a couple things around content. So let's sort of shift in that direction. So where do you get the content? Do you write it yourself? All right, I'm going to come back on here. And sorry, I screwed up the clip earlier. Oh, we're on this camera. Sorry, I screwed up the clip earlier. I was trying to type back some stuff into...
For niche selection, I've got like...
Good grief. This thing is, it's getting the best of me today. All right, let's keep it simple. All right, we're moving cameras now. There's only a few buttons. You know, it's hard to mess up, but it's also a little bit easy. So we got a couple questions. What's up, Adrian? What's up, Sana? And we say a couple others. So Danish mentioned a couple things. I'm going to zip back in the chat. McKitty is in there. Okay, so we have Danish here who is experiencing issues. His site dropped from $1,000 to $100. Sorry to hear that. And you need help. So you can hire me to check it out. You probably imagine there's not much value that you can get in troubleshooting your specific site on a live session like this, but there's a link so that you can hire me. So, usually there's something you can do. Okay. Then we have, all right. So we have, Usman says, do we have any affiliate option for mobile apps? The answer is yes, you do. You should probably, like Google it and figure out like what your options are, because it probably depends on your niche quite a lot. So I'm going to see if I could crowd these couple graphics together here. Niche Website Builder sponsors the Q&A segment. You can save 10% on their link building packages. I'm personally using the Shotgun Skyscraper technique in their campaign. I have the budget plan. It's $800 per month. I'm about 4 months in, 3.5, 4 months in. I have 15 links so far. It was on a brand new site. The first month, no links. It took about 6 weeks for any links to come through. That's just how those campaigns work. The average domain rating is 61 and some change. So honestly, it's not as many links as I thought, but the authority and the domain rating is much higher than I expected. So they are, sending out more emails. $1,200 per month. So do check out Niche Website Builders, and they can write content as well. I have a standing order for 20,000 words. So the answer, Usman, is yeah, you can be an affiliate for mobile apps. You'll have to go check like the various platforms. McKitty says, do I know anything about the link building service from the Hoth? You've tried buying links from them for my site. So I'm an affiliate for them. I haven't talked about them in a while. Some of their, they have a full range, right? So they have some services that are technically gray hat. Those you'll have to sort of look through. They have others that are more white hat based, where you can get a guest post or like basically a press release situation. They have full managed services where they do a combination. I think, I haven't looked in a while, but I think they could even do like Web 2.0 link building, which if you know what you're doing and you need those links for a reason, they can be helpful. So they do have a full suite of stuff, and I've used them in the past. Generally, I've always been happy with the services. Tom is on. What's going on? And Edward says you got your first hire link today, and you started to do guest posting as well. So that's super cool. Sina says you're a total newbie in affiliate marketing, and you're asking about how many words for info post and for review post. So the answer is however many words it needs to be. I pointed you in the direction of the FAQ section on Niche Site Project. The link is in the chat. You can kind of aim for roughly 1,000 to 2,000 words for most content most of the time. If it is a really, huge topic and you go check your competition and you see they have very long word counts, maybe you need to make it 3,500 words. So kind of check and see what the average is for similar competitors for the specific keywords, and then that'll sort of guide you. But if you're just like most content, like you're hiring it out, I would say, get people to write 1,300, 1,500 words, and that's a good start. You can always add more. Adrian, what's going on? Okay. Worldwide Leader says, is it good to buy ready-made sites from Human Proof Designs, or should we tell them some custom niche after researching niches ourselves and then tell them to make one for us? Okay, so this is a good question. I'm going to go on a rant for a second. But before I do, give a shout out to Amelia. Check out her channel. She's been a guest over here. I've been a guest there. So you can check out my interview with her. If someone has that link handy, feel free to throw it in the chat or in the comments. So, okay. And I am indeed catching up. So, speaking of ready-made sites, Niche Website Builders actually does sell done-for-you sites. So they're not necessarily ready-made. I think they work with you to sort of customize it. Now, my rant here, let me get rid of these things. So my rant is I generally don't recommend people to do like done-for-you sites or the pre-made sites. I'm an affiliate for Human Proof Designs. I'm an affiliate for Brand Builders. I constantly talk shit about this kind of service. I highly recommend that you build a site from scratch, or if you're going to get a site, buy one that's already like getting traffic and earning money. The thing is, when you buy from these services, which I like the people running it, people buy. I mean, I'm an affiliate because so many people were like, who should I buy from? I'm going to buy one of these sites. I may as well get your recommendation. So the companies that I mentioned, Brand Builders, Human Proof Designs, Niche Website Builders, they're great. Everyone's great, right? But when you buy a site, you relinquish so much control. And the fact is, here's the problem. You have no clue if let's say it's on ballpoint pens. Someone gave the nice example of ballpoint pens just a second ago. You don't know if they've sold like 30 sites all in the writing utensil space and they're just recycling keywords. Okay, how about this worldwide leader? Let's say you come in, you have this fucking awesome idea, right? You have a wonderful idea. You bring it to them, they build your site, and then they go, this is a great niche. We're building more sites. We're going to sell these, or they're going to build them for themselves, right? I don't think any of the people I mentioned do that. Okay, so just want to be clear with that. But there's a huge issue with some of those details. And then the other part, the main reason why I initially had no interest in going this route is I saw a lot of people coming to me and they're like, hey, I bought this site. It's supposed to do awesome. And, here's all the stats. They told me it has the potential to make whatever, $8,000 per month. And it's basically earning nothing. So you end up like buying something thinking it's going to all work out awesome. And then it just doesn't. But if you're going to buy one, buy through my affiliate link, But I would say try to build it yourself or buy a site that is already getting a little traffic. Okay. I suck as an affiliate sometimes. Minaj says, can we integrate drop shipping with the Amazon affiliate site? Sure, you can do it. You'll have to, check the, terms and stuff with the drop shipping partners that you have out there, but that should be fine. And in fact, on Monday, November 2nd, I'm going to have a whole interview coming out outlining the whole process because I talked to Duke, who did exactly what you're talking about. Also, you should check out the interview with John, who was earning about $100,000 about a year ago with his dropshipping site. And then he grew it as he outsourced and hired people to do work for him. Now, I think like the height of this year, I think like August, he made $500,000. Of course, that's top line revenue, so there's a smaller amount that he brought home, but still, obviously, he's doing very well. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and play a clip of the interview with John. So you should pay careful attention there because he kind of explains what to do. Let me see if I can avoid screwing up the cameras here. fingers crossed. There no promises here because it gets a little funny sometimes. Okay, so John is rolling here, and you can check out the full interview, of course.
I did start a blog on WordPress, and I don't understand WordPress at all. So now I have a guy called Dario that just takes care of that website for me. But I did really like the idea of creating an affiliate website, and instead of referring to Amazon, refer to my store directly. So it would look like an unbiased review, but without making stuff up. Genuine reviews, but from a seemingly unbiased resource, let's say. And because my products aren't directly for hunting, but they're very applicable, I don't get hunters knocking on my door. So I wanted to just have a wider net and have a hunting niche website that also talked about like a bunch of other products, but also mine, and then refer them. And you'll know better than I do. You don't get traffic right out the gate. It took me. We started slowly getting traffic. We were doing like maybe 4 blog posts using the KGR. It was a lot easier to use your KGR process for that, because we had more opportunities to target different words instead of just going after one type of product specific keywords, because it was hunting. We even have blog posts about like how to train your hunting dog, for example. So really broad hunting material, and even going that broad and getting long tail, low volume search volume keywords, producing a lot of content. The content is ranking now, and after about 9 months I started seeing my first couple of sales come in, which is great. Now in the last 3 months, because it's been about a year, in the last 3 months I'm getting about 4 or 5 sales a month from that website. But that's new. It wasn't like that for very long, so I'm hoping that continues to grow, because if I could do that with one website, then I'll just make 4 or 5, and then
Right.
And then I don't pay myself the referral fee. So
of course, yeah, that's pretty amazing. So and just thinking of the affiliate side, if a person started that site and they were mainly pushing these high ticket drop shipping type items, then they would make what was it, maybe $1,000 a month in about a year, just on those products. But I imagine, are you also referring to other places for those other products that you don't have?
So I was referring to Amazon, because I figured if we're going to write about a lot of other stuff, we may as well, create an Amazon Associates account and link it up to that. But it was like pulling teeth. It was so complicated. Like, it was overly complicated. Not the process, but it kept locking me out. It kept telling me that they don't recognize my user or something. There was always something wrong, something technical to fix. And it was more with my Amazon account rather than the links themselves. And it was just, and because I was doing all of this other drop shipping stuff, I really didn't want to be arguing about like my Amazon Associates account. So I actually decided to, because Dario does a great job running the website, and he has other websites as well, because he follows your course and he does a lot of other websites so he offers it to me as a service. So I said to him, how about this? I still pay you your monthly fee. You put in your own Amazon link to all of those products, as long as you promise to concentrate on traffic going to my store, because that's the whole purpose of its existence. But if you get extra Amazon commissions, they're all yours. And he was like, are you sure? Because that's great for me. And I was like, then I'm removing the headache, and you're just going to keep putting out great content, and you're incentivized as well. So it's been a couple of months where he gets the Amazon commissions and I get the referrals to my website.
Wow, that's an amazing deal. And it's funny you mentioned like having issues with the Amazon account and just it being a hassle, since I say, hey, it's probably one of the easiest ways to get started, blah blah blah. And a lot of people would think the drop shipping model is more complicated. You got to run ads and blah blah blah. But yeah, kind of funny. Do you happen to know how much he's making? Does he report back like, hey, we did really good on this, on the Amazon side?
No, I don't even ask him because I don't want it to be uncomfortable for him, because if he has a great month, I mean, he might feel uncomfortable that. No,
Okay.
I might feel hard done by or something, which I don't. But I know for the first 9 months for sure it was zero, because there was also no traffic. So now I'm getting referrals to my store. I'm hoping he's getting referrals
Sure.
through it as well, because then that's good for him too. So gives
Very
him
cool.
something to do.
Pretty crazy deal, right? That writer was in the right place at the right time, and just knew the right things, and John gave him a pretty killer deal. So pretty amazing. All right, I'm going to hop back and answer some questions here. The key to not messing up the video here and switching back and forth is just don't type. Earlier I was trying to type messages back and answer things, but I just have to chill out. All right, just got to chill out. So niche website builders, Q&A, get the little thing going on here. Again, they do these sort of custom sites and stuff. So, okay. We have a few things. Okay, answered that one. Next. Okay, I'm getting to the questions here. Just taking me a second. Vishal says, you have content clusters, and is that okay? Yeah, content clusters are fine. Can it lead to keyword cannibalization? And that just means you're ranking multiple pages for the same term, and Google doesn't know which page to rank. And typically you rank much lower because of that. The answer is yes, you can run into keyword cannibalization. The key is to publish the content and then check to see if you're running into that issue, and then fix it if you are. Typically, if I am trying to fix it, then I will essentially combine the content. Amelia mentions that you concur on testing and just seeing how things work out for you, which is something that Leon said. Nokio says, can I give an update on the link building campaign from niche website builders? Yeah, so I already gave an update. Basically 15 links so far. They're still sending out emails, and the average domain rating is about 61 and change. Edward says, what's the lowest DA I would go for with link building? I would go for, I don't even care what the rating is, by the way. So I wouldn't care. I would go 0 if it was relevant. Okay. Amir says, my forehead is massive. It is. It goes all the way to the back of my neck. Yep, see? Someone actually left that comment. So one cool thing is you should, I would say, put yourself out there. Start a blog. Amelia has a YouTube channel. A lot of the guests that I have on the show, they may dabble. Some people just stay under the radar and work on stuff. But the interesting thing is when you put yourself out there, people will just say, hey, you have a big forehead. They'll say like, hey, I've actually gotten emails that just says like, fuck you, I hate you, right? So you actually get those emails because some people are just weirdos. But it does bring huge opportunities. It's insane. And I'll talk about that in a second here. I'll answer some more questions. 24/7 Marketing says, what do companies charge for a done-for-you site? You'll have to go check the marketing materials and the sales information. I don't know off the top of my head. I know that I have seen them for around $1,000, and they go on up to several $1,000s depending on what they're talking about. Jagadesh says there are a lot of sites on Flippa that have copyrighted images from big sites. They still sell for 20 to 30x. Do I recommend buying sites? So there are many other details that you'll have to check. I would potentially get a site that had copyrighted images, but I would know that it's something that would need to be fixed, and you could use it as a negotiation point. I don't shop on Flippa, so it doesn't really impact me from there. Danielle says, what's the average number of articles per site and how long are the articles? So go check nichesiteproject.com/FAQ. I don't even know how many articles I have per site. unsure. I have some, it's not a helpful answer. Hundreds, all right? So the average is hundreds. How long are the articles? Some are 800 words. Some are like 6,000, 8,000 words. So it's a broad, huge range. And like I said earlier, the length should be as long as it needs to be to help the user out. And as far as the number of articles, the more articles that you have, the more money that you're going to make. So you have to balance it out, of course, but publish as many as you could tolerate, basically. All right. Hayes says drop shipping and e-commerce is a tough slog. You better have a plan for organic traffic and or list building. Cool. What experience do you have? Hayes, Gray, any results or anything to share? And I haven't done it myself, but if you can do organic traffic, then you're going to stand out and do better than people coming in without that skill. Oliver says, I'm German. You have a niche related to local businesses. You run in Thailand and you're looking for someone that's good in white hat and blah, blah, blah. I recommend Niche Website Builders, a sponsor of the Q&A segment here. I would check out their Shotgun Skyscraper campaign. And otherwise, I don't have any recommendations specifically. Okay. And people are like, hey, I'm doing okay with the trolls. So the funny thing is, when the channel was way smaller, I had so many more trolls showing up. Very interesting. And at one point I had like people showing up on a regular basis. So I had like several moderators that would pop in, but it's been a while since I've seen like the normal moderators. And so there were people like Duke, Adrian, Marty McLeod. I'm trying to think some of the other, people that have been guests on the channel and the show were popping in all the time. They were here consistently. So I had probably like 4 or 5 moderators that were in all the time. And let's see. Okay, catching up, and we'll be finishing up here. So get in your last minute questions. We're going to keep it fairly tight to an hour-ish here. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, Oliver is asking, it sounds like you need someone who can do a long-term cooperation. Can you write me? I don't do any services. I can recommend a couple. I would recommend you to larger agencies in general, but here's the deal. I'm not a matchmaking service. So I have a ton of people who are like, hey, Doug, I could write articles for you. And I don't hire people that do that generally, because I go and hire people, right? I don't want, the danger is, right? Someone could come in, say, hey, I'll write some articles for you. And then they take all my keywords, that sort of thing. So I look out for that, and I just hire people that don't know like who I am or what I'm doing. It's just a safer route. Or I hire an agency where again, it's a safer route. I also have people who are like, hey, I could do link building for you. I could do X, Y, or Z. And it's just, I could match people up, but I'm not responsible for any part of it. So there's like no value for me to do it. So anyway, Oliver, you can shoot me an email. That would be fine. And I can refer you to some larger agencies, which, if you need long-term help, these are companies that have been around for, a decade. Vishal says, I'm afraid of doing something wrong while link building. So can I just create more KGR content? You have 33 articles. Your site's still in the sandbox. The answer is yes, but I highly encourage you to figure out link building because you'll do better in the long run. And here's an idea, right? I published a video yesterday where I said Haro link building as a service is going to be big, I believe, in the next, 12, 18 months. There's already services popping up. I put a course out on it just last week. You can buy the course for less than it will cost you for one link. All right. So if you check out some of the services, they're charging like $400 per link. And people will pay good money for it. I mean, it's a kind of a cool way to get links. There's some awesome stuff. But the fact is, if you can figure out how to do link building, you can charge people to do that thing, because so many people are scared, just like you, Vishal. So I encourage you to get over your fear and you'll be fine. Mohammed says, thanks for KGR. And Hayes says you could easily leverage social media to build your list, but the organic part is a challenge. Sure. Edward says you could be burned with Flippa. Yep. Okay, and I'll hit a couple other questions here. Oh, Nick, what's going on? Nick was on the show a while back. Hope you're doing well too. And Nick was part of the very early like live stream folks here. And I interviewed him. He was doing awesome back then. Okay. Last couple questions here. Radius or Riadus. What's the difference between native writers and non-native writers? Why does it matter so much? That's an interesting question. I've never actually had that question. The non-native writers potentially can write really shitty content, and it doesn't read properly, it's weird, and it requires more editing. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense, and it matters because of the quality. Someone is asking about Black Hat SEO. I would say Google it and see, where it takes you. I don't have any specific recommendations. Fahid says, you hope I'm fine. Is KGR applicable in money articles, or is it info? You're new in the method and you're launching your website. It is useful and applies to any kind of content. It is irrelevant if you have an affiliate site with reviews, if you have an info site, if you have a professional services site. I know lawyers are using it. I know other just companies in general use it as a technique to find keywords. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. And Hayes said, do I use hashtags on the videos? So I have occasionally, but I don't think there's any huge value. You potentially can get a little traction if people are really watching those hashtags and they go down that rabbit hole. But I think most people end up watching videos based on the suggested videos and or search, like if they're looking for something specific. But Hayes, you can watch a couple of videos on hashtags, and the algorithm, everything shifts over time. So I tested it out a little bit, but it wasn't really wasn't helpful. Okay, and moving forward. Okay, I think we're in good shape here. So we made it through all the questions. Again, if you have not signed up for my email list, you can go to nichesiteproject.com, click the green button, enter your name and email address. You'll get all the templates and systems and different things that I use. I just give them out freely. You get all those like right away. So you can just go over there and sign up. I also send out emails to let you know about new content that I'm putting out and sort of like the best of sort of content as well. So I think that is probably the number one tip. And then everyone that's still on, if you haven't checked out the FAQs on either just the general FAQs, nichesiteproject.com/FAQ, or the one on the keyword golden ratio, there's a lot of FAQs associated with that. Read those. You will probably see a question that you haven't thought of yet, but that you do find very helpful. So do check those out. All those questions and answers respond because people ask them in these sessions, in these live sessions over the years. So, All right, and the last one is Usama says, can a site succeed without backlinks? The answer is yes, but people get over it. And you could you could do backlinks. It's not that hard. I don't know why everybody is scared of building backlinks. There's way too much fear. And check out your competitors, right? Who's beating you in the SERPs? Probably sites with backlinks. So learn how to build backlinks. You'll be better off in the long run. It's a thing that people hate. If you could figure out how to do the thing that people hate, you'll have that competitive advantage. All right. Check out the podcast too, Doug.Show.